Welcome back to Webcertain TV. I'm Gemma Houghton. Today I'm joined by Nivi Jasa, who's the founder of onPony, an online delivery app. And he's here today to tell us a little bit more about why he's developed it and how it's going. So,
Hi, thanks for hosting us.
Pleasure.
So we are a digital platform that allows the user to get in contact with people that are traveling all over the world by any kind of transportation such as car, train, airplane, even on a pony, in order to send and receive goods deliveries. So no more UPS or FedEx or private courier, it's a shared delivery.
Okay, and why did you come up with the idea for the business?
So I'm originally from Italy, and 3 years ago I moved to Istanbul. I was working there, and I found myself in difficulties to find some products that I couldn't find in the Turkish market. So I was trying to get them from Italy, but the shipment was too expensive.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get in contact with my Turkish friends in Milan and say, hey, are you coming in the next weeks?
Yeah.
But no one was coming, so I said I should build a website since there's no website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So you have the idea, which is great, but then you have to make that idea into, a business, into an app. So how did you go about doing that?
So I started just writing down the idea at first, and then draw a first draft, because I'm also a graphic designer. And then I started to share it with some friends and some friends again, and listen to them, even though I was a bit scared at the beginning to share it, because it's people might steal it, might copy it, but then you see that there's a lot of effort and things to be done to achieve these results. In fact, it took us 2.5 years since the first idea to reach this point today where we're presenting our first alpha. And I mean, you don't have to give up, always keep pushing and believing and listen a lot.
So I think there's some, I think there's quite a few useful tips for, startups in general and for trying to get a new idea off the ground. But one of them being, you can't rush it and it will take time, but it's worth investing that time and doing the proper research.
I mean, now if I had to start again, maybe it will take me 3 months because I already know the process. But when I started, I didn't know anything. What's a business plan? What's iOS application and how does it work? Payment within the system, and a lot of things that you start to understand, and then you start to dig into more, and you listen to some talks, and you read, and you listen again, people. So, I mean, if you really believe into something and you're really into that, if you give up a lot of things, because I also quit 2 jobs in order, to achieve these results, then things happen.
And this kind of approach is very similar to things like Airbnb, to Uber, which we all know are doing so well. This idea of not actually having a product or service, but just enabling people to do it themselves. Have you taken any inspiration from those brands? Well,
the inspiration comes from our daily life, because we see that also my generation, our generation, the millennials, that nowadays the most trending word to describe us is no more related to properties. We like to share stuff, because also sharing brings us to meet new people, new experience. We want to invest our money into traveling to experience more stuff, because when you buy, you're possessing, but you're closing a bit yourself. Instead, when you're experiencing more stuff, that could be an apartment that has a story because of the owner, that you go out for dinner and tells you more about the city, and then you travel with people in a stranger car, and one of them is even an investor for us that we just met twice and invested. It's amazing, and I think it's the perfect timing for us nowadays to start something new.
And so the app hasn't launched yet, or that's right?
No, it's gonna be launched by January 17, so in a couple of weeks. And we started to present the first alpha yesterday. Went really well, really good feedbacks. And it's going to be a web app and also app for iOS and Android.
And how are you approaching the launch then? What, in terms of marketing, in terms of your plans for how you're going to make people aware that this is happening? What are you going to do?
So me and also one of the co-founders, we studied together graphic design and communication, so we're pretty familiar with what does it mean, to communicate something. And we strongly believe also in the storytelling. And I mean, our service has a lot of stories, from the person that is traveling to a place to another, to the item is carrying, where is it coming, that guitar and that thing. So we really believe that communicating our services through a good storytelling using Facebook, Instagram, and different social media is one of the easiest and cheapest tool for a startup. Because I mean, money is too much to spend.
You're not going to have a
into
TV advertising campaign.
Yeah. So internet nowadays is our key. 20 years ago, I couldn't scream the word what is onPony. Now I can just post, tweet something, and it can be shared and retweeted. So I think it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And where is the app going to launch? Is it in where will the app launch? So which languages is it in, or which markets are you targeting?
So we are a worldwide service. And of course, nowadays we have to focus on a specific effort that is going to be the European market, especially like few countries such as the UK, Germany, France, Spain, Italy. So also these 5 languages. And in terms of growing, we're also aiming in the future, of course, to expand to the American market, South and East, the East market, Middle East, Africa, which is an amazing continent that is still haven't been considered by different services. And we had some good inputs from people yesterday about also this market, because our main targets are like expat, Erasmus, immigrants, commuters, and I mean, I just moved to London a few months ago, and I see how this melting pot is amazingly bringing new inputs and cultures and idea. So
there's a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, definitely.
And what would be your number one tip for a startup or a business launching a new product to make it succeed, to get there with it?
I think first of all, being humble, and you have to know your limits, because I started from zero, honestly, and I didn't know anything, so I knew my limits. Okay, I studied graphic design. A lot of people told me, why didn't you design the logo of the company? I said, okay, I think I'm a good designer, but I'm not the best. And I think there are better people that should work on that. So I understood since the beginning that I couldn't do everything. So I had, to find the right people, and you find them because you listen, and you listen because you're humble. So I think that's the best tips I can give.
Great. Well, I wish you well with the launch. I hope it all goes really well.
Thank you.
Thank you for talking to us.
It was a pleasure.
Great. Thank you.